Hello there, campers. Let's get off the bus. Let's grab our duffels and get around the fire before we go ahead and get started today. You may notice that we have some guests on the line. We are really excited to dive into our advanced scout skills training. Before we go ahead and get started with our actual content, I do want to go over a few things about how we're going to be using Zoom today at camp. First of all, we are recording this session. So you will get a copy of this recording in your inbox within 24 hours of this session completing. That way, if you arrive late, if you have to leave early, if you have friends or colleagues who are unable to join us, that's just fine. You can go ahead and share the love of Engage Summer Camp with them. We will be utilizing the chat functionality today. You're going to find that by running your mouse over the screen where you see our cover page that says Advanced Scout Skills. At the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a little toolbar. Go ahead and click on that chat button if you're having any technical difficulties. If you have any comments on the content, that's where you're going to put that information. Morgan Vera from Engage is on the line to help you out with any technical issues. If you have any questions about the actual content, though, we do have Jim Rutherford on the line who might be able to help you out with that. We will be utilizing the Q&A functionality on this camp session as well. If you go ahead again, run your mouse over that cover screen where it says Advanced Scout Skills. At the bottom, you're going to see a button that says Q&A. Click on that, ask your questions in there. That is going to allow us to be able to disposition the question. So I can tell you right then and there if we're going to answer it live. Jim can answer it on the line, or we can save it for later and follow up with you if it's a really specific question. So without further ado, let's dive into our Advanced Scout Skills seminar and talk about who is on the line. So you all know me. I'm Pam Torrey. I am most of the time the director of marketing here at Engage, but today I am your head camp counselor. And I am really excited to have two feature scouts on the line with us, Alan Davis and Alex Saretzky. So Alan, can you introduce yourself to the audience first?
Yeah, welcome everyone. My name is Alan Davis, and I'm the product manager here at Engage. And that role is actually a feature scout. I'm out in the field looking for opportunities to really enhance and solve more problems with Engage. So super excited today to show you what we've been doing as far as scouting around the woods and coming up with some really cool things for your new sales processes.
Awesome. Alex, can you introduce yourself to our audience? Although I think most people know you.
Hello, campers. I'm Alex. I work closely with Alan to help bring our ideas to life. So, ideas are these fragile, gentle things like a leaf in the forest, and we have to take them and turn them into giant trees that we can then ship out to you fine folks. So, I'm really excited to be here today. The stuff we've got today. It's all come from our customers. It's based entirely around your needs, and we're so excited to get it to the hands of more people.
Awesome. And then we do have a surprise guest with us. I think most of you know Jim Rutherford. You love Jim Rutherford. But Jim, can you just introduce yourself in case you do have to answer any of those questions? People know the street cred of the person answering them.
Hi, yeah, my name is Jim Rutherford. I'm the Director of Product and Engineering at Engage. I work very closely with Alan and Alex. And really excited to see what we're about to present to you today and help answer any questions that might come up in the Q&A.
Wonderful. Well, let's go ahead and dive into our agenda. What are we going to be covering today? So, first of all, we are so excited, campers, to be able to show you our brand new PriceKit. I know many of you have heard rumors about it. You might have seen betas of this particular feature. You may have even participated in helping Alan and Alex to build this feature. We're really thrilled to be able to actually show you what it is, how it works, how it's going to benefit your business today. Then we are going to just be diving into some more information related to like what's coming up with Engage, some highlights about what's on the trail ahead of us. And then we'll be chatting a little bit about analytics towards the end so that you know where you were and what you did. All right, Alan, take it away. Let's dive in with our feature scout.
Well, let's start talking about PriceKit to get going here. And I really love the graphics our team put together. Kind of certainly to enhance the theme we've got going here today. But as I was thinking about it, I'm a hiker, I'm an outdoorsy guy, so I've always got a kit with me, right? I've got my a first aid kit, I got my flashlight. Most importantly, I've got my map and my compass, right? So these two things are the ones that I want us to hang on to today and really talk about as we go through the demonstration and more about what PriceKit is, because it really is a kit to help you navigate and find your way through your sales process, right? So if you think about your sales methodology and your sales process as the map, PriceKit is one of the tools that's going to help you move around that map effectively, efficiently, and really achieve the goals you're looking for from your sales process. What I thought we would do is actually jump right to the end. And let's talk about and show a little bit of what PriceKit looks like in the field. We had the opportunity to sit down with Kyle Sellers. If you don't know Kyle, he's an industry expert and coach and trainer. And he did some recordings for us and helped us demonstrate, what PriceKit was all about. So let's hear Kyle talk to a customer about affordability using the tool and navigating that sales methodology.
So let's talk about your affordability options and let's make this super affordable for you. Okay. So when we apply your current promotion, which that's one of the great things here, is I can just let the computer do the calculations for me. Your best savings right now with our seasonal promotion, you're saving a full 10% off the project. So $1,500, which brings your new total down to just $13,500.
So real quick example there of Kyle, kind of using the tool. He had gone through ideally some price conditioning and experience conditioning prior to getting to that point. But the point is he's got a great tool to continue the conversation in a more fluid way than pulling out a piece of paper and napkin, jumping to another tool, grabbing the calculator. One of the things that Kyle mentioned in there was like, we'll just let the tool do the work so he can concentrate on the selling. Let's see him actually close the deal using the tool as well with this last example as he talks about the homeowner.
So when I apply those savings, it's a really good savings right now. Gosh, you're saving an additional 5% off the project, which actually what that does is it gives us some flexibility on your affordability options too. So now that your project costs less, your down payment comes down to just $1,275. Nice, right?
Yeah.
Which when I switch you into one of our flexible payment programs, really we can get you going at under $300 a month at just $244 per month.
That's awesome.
Sounds good?
Yes.
Well, hey, considering that we made it affordable, let's do this. Let's get you in a new project.
So, a couple great examples of what PriceKit looks like in the field. And those are just a couple of short little segments. We actually had a whole crew. We recorded a number of different training videos, overview videos, some interviews. So check out the Ingage YouTube channel for the full versions of the couple of examples we just showed here and a lot more content to get you up to speed on PriceKit as well. Team, any questions, any comments before we jump into the next level here?
Make sure to like and subscribe.
There you go, like and subscribe.
What I love so much about PriceKit is how it fits in with your existing presentation, right? Some people are jumping at napkins. I hope they're not, but there's lots of other tools, mostly spreadsheets that people have cobbled together. And PriceKit presents your price in a super professional way that makes people have trust in the services that you're going to provide.
Yeah, and I use the term as well, simple, Alex, right? As you and I are sitting down and thinking about how we're going to solve this problem for our customers, we talked to a lot of folks. And it really was simplifying the process, not only for the rep in the field, but also for the homeowner, understanding options. How am I going to get to a path for affordability for the project I'm looking at? Do I do it all? Do I do it in segments? The whole conversation on pricing really it can be very complex. And we're really trying to provide the capabilities within Ingage to simplify the whole process. So we use the term simple pricing. We want to keep it simple. But most importantly, it's designed to really align with your sales methodology, right? We look at PriceKit as a tool that you are going to use to adapt to the job you have. So we've got a number of folks out there that do a lot of home improvements, and you're very familiar with the tools out there and how to use tools and finding the right tool for the job and how a great tool can really help you, and how using a tool inappropriately for the process you're in, like you're not using saws to drive nails in, right? You could, but the tool is not going to last very long, and the results are not going to be very well received. But what I'm mentioning here is really all about aligning our tools with your methodology of the sales process. We're going to go through some demonstrations today and show a lot more detail here. But that's the number one takeaway I want you to have with PriceKit right now. It's not about altering what you're doing. It's about using the tool and adapting it to your needs. And we're going to see a lot of demonstrations about that today. Oh, wrong system here. And to kind of help enhance that, what we'll kind of talk about here is we built a number of templates to help you get started. As we were going through the process of understanding how people talk about price, there are a wide range of very simple processes, like here's a list price. here's the best discount I can give you, to offering various different kind of financing options, discounts, and all kinds of combinations in between. So what we did, we really helped jumpstart the whole process, because something near and dear to Alex and mine and our entire company's hearts is that time to value. We want you to go from, yeah, I love that thing, to be able to close deals like you saw Kyle did, within minutes, hopefully, or certainly after you train the sales team a little bit, they've got a great tool to demonstrate the same kind of things that Kyle did as well. So the idea of having some options here, we're jump starting you with various different kits and things like that. Anything else, Alex or team, before we jump into the demonstration?
I think really flexibility and simplicity are really the key concepts that, hey, look at that, write it down, right? They're really the key things, because while we did see similarities across different people's, price presentations, the common theme is that everyone does things a little bit different, right? And you need to be able to tailor that to how you like to have conversations, right? People know how their customers are. We learned things where, like, in some markets, people start with financing. In some markets, everyone starts with cash payments. And it's fascinating how it's different depending on where in the world you are. And so for us, our goal is to get you started and get you as far down the path as you can, but really leave it up to you and make it so that it's super easy to set up, and that you don't need someone from our team to help you, because you're already the expert, right? So looking at people's Excel wizards, right, with just dark magic, putting these spreadsheets together, and they work, they do the math, but when you put that in front of a homeowner, like, they're not gonna get it, right? You're trying to tell a story with numbers and build value and explain, an opportunity to somebody. And, PriceKit has been really designed so that when you're telling that story, people understand what it is you're offering them, and they're walking away with a clear understanding of what the opportunity is.
Yeah,
We
I think it
also
kind
want
of
to we also want to look at things that are going to grow with your business. I think
right.
that's another thing to focus on, is that Engage can grow with your business because we allow you to create as much content as you want, to add additional manufacturer content from our marketplace. As we work with different people, you get to benefit from that. But we also know that most of you are here to scale your companies. You're not here to stay where you are right now. You want to be somewhere else in a few years, and you might need additional features from your pricing presentation as you continue to grow and scale. And so the configurability is going to allow you to do that, so that you can reflect what your business is going to look like in 3 years versus how it looks today.
Yeah,
Or
that's
when you change the promotions, right?
Mhm.
all those kinds of things. Yeah, it really drives some of the the core values we see. People getting out of PriceKit, which is, first of all, really maintaining that trust with the customer. As Alex mentioned, flipping around with spreadsheets, back of the napkins, the whole process of, let me jump out here, jump there. You're kind of wondering, as a homeowner, as someone across the table, like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get it. Oh, but as smooth as it can be, you're reducing all the friction, right? So you're building and maintaining that trust with the customer. Looking at the options, right? And we've talked about the configurability, looking at the opportunity to be able to extend it, grow with Engage, as opposed to look to other alternatives, right? So it's really the extensibility of the tools and how we're building them is critically important. And last but not least is just picturing it, right? Our training manager Rocky came up with a great little picture it possible, right? The idea is, like, picture these visuals. Yeah, they're numbers, but I can see values, I can see discounts, I can actually picture the project and how I'm going to afford it, and how I'm going to pay for it. So pretty cool stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the field comes up with as we dig in deeper and continue the evolution here. So we talked a little bit about what it all is, but we haven't seen it yet except for Kyle's demonstration. So let's jump right in and let's go through a demonstration, going right to the beginning of how we get this installed, and how we begin to configure it out that door there. So the first thing I'm going to do,
Time, campers.
yeah, demo time. So I've just I'm on Engage desktop on my Mac right now, and I've clicked on the marketplace link. Now, you guys all know about marketplace, right? I mean, everyone should be pretty familiar with what's going on out here. We're taking marketplace to the next level, and this price kit is really the first offering within marketplace to really kind of build out a lot more capabilities. The templates are wonderful to get you started. We've had a number of things that we've done behind the scenes to make content delivery easier, get you going. But this is like the next level. These are like the pro tools, right? So you've got your consumer grade tools out there, and when you're ready to really run a business, you need the pro tools. So PriceKit's a great example of one of these first offerings, and Pam and team will certainly let you know about all the capabilities that we'll start to add to PriceKit, but also other things that we'll be looking at it's to in the future. These are pretty sophisticated kind of tools, but we've really simplified them, as you'll see, for this process. So I've gone through the marketplace listing, and just to be clear, this is part of the Engage platform. So when you pay your platform fee, you're getting access to some of these pro tools. There are different capabilities at different levels of Engage subscriptions to enable or disable. And that's really exactly what Pam mentioned. We're here to grow with you, give you the tools you need now, but letting you know you have the ability to grow into, and Engage is there as a platform for you to leverage. So super simple, right? How am I going to get this installed? I'm going to click install, and I'm done. Okay, so now it's installed. What happened there, Alex? Give folks a little understanding of what happened behind the scenes here, if you would, about what we did to their company.
Magic.
Magic.
Well, basically, if you've ever used a page template pack before, you know how this works. So we've added a page template pack to your account. And when you're editing your presentation, all you have to do is go to add a new page, and you'll see the Engage PriceKit page templates right there. And now you can choose from one of 3 pre-configured pricing presentations. So I think Alan's going to demo each one individually, but you pick the one, try them all out. You can even have more than one in your presentation if that makes sense for you. Try them out, configure them, take them for a test drive on your iPad, and they're all based off the same thing. They're just pre-configured to get you, like I said, as far down the road as possible, so that all you're doing is adding in your specific values, your specific financing, whatever your promotions are, how you like to present things, and just configuring it for how you like to do things.
Yeah. So let's actually, I was obviously prepping for the demo earlier, so I've installed PriceKit here twice. That's why we see it double there. Let's go back to our presentation. Let's talk about just a little bit about how to position pricing in your presentation, and where to put it a little bit. This is one of our just kind of templates out there that actually includes some pretty nice little capabilities already built into to really help prepare for pricing conversation. There's one right here on our screen called national average, right? So the idea of putting pricing in isn't just about dropping a tool in, right? We need to consider how we're conditioning the customer and the experience they're having through the presentation. So I'm going to go through, this is our typical, most often customers are doing something very similar to what we're seeing here, but eventually we're getting out to next steps. And this is where the calculator comes out, or the spreadsheet. We're going to add a new section here and call it our affordability options. And as Alex mentioned, I'm going to go use the template pack by clicking on the add page option here. And I'm going to go with a real simple example to start with here. We'll kind of build it out as we go forward here a little bit. So I'm simply going to double click, add that page in there. What looks a little bit different here is this is not your normal editing experience. All right. When you go into Engage, it's really what we call kind of a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get kind of editor. The idea is you're dragging and dropping and visually creating that. This is a configuration experience, right? And this is built into the configuration tool that you have access to today. So when you go to edit a page, that's a PriceKit page, you'll have the opportunity to do the configuration like you're seeing here. That's critically important because this is where the magic happens, as Alex mentioned, right? You'll be able to set controls here. You'll be able to manage everything directly from this page, and really go through any kind of configuration needs as necessary. So we've laid this out with some various kind of a tab interface, and it's really designed to guide you through the various steps to collect the information and then help you build out the experience that you want to offer, kind of aligning with your sales methodology. So on the general tab here, very simple things like, maybe we'll kind of change the name here. We'll call this Summer Camp, simple pricing, something like that. Different options, right? So this is, again, as we were talking about, your sales methodology may say, hey, we just do projects, or maybe you do inputs on product and labor, right? So you have the opportunity to kind of select whether you want the product to be put in as a project to be put in as a total, or separating out product and labor costs. Different opportunities to do different discounting strategies, stacked and progressive discounts. We have some nice opportunities here to demonstrate to the rep, some feedback on how they may be exercising, how they may be aligned with their commissions and some of their expenses along those lines. So kind of some general information to get going here. The second thing you'll be looking at is your discounts. And so these are really designed to give you the opportunity to kind of configure any kind of percent off or things like that. And you can see when I bring this example up, we can give it a name. And again, going back to where I mentioned earlier, how you entering in your amounts, you can then decide whether you want have, project level discounts, product level discounts, labor discounts, and really then apply, different kinds of calculations, whether it's a percentage or just a straight cash discount. Great example of like a repeat customer or referral. Maybe it's $100 cash or something like that. We also have the ability to do things per units, right? So if you're selling windows or doors, or maybe offering a discount on the number of squares of a shingles or something like that, right? You can also go by per unit. So it's not just about just one kind of way of doing things. And why I'm going through some detail here is really to help you understand the flexibility of the tool, right? That we can align with lots of different sales processes here. There's some other capabilities here as well. Kind of, this is a lot more around the controls and what you want to allow the reps to do or not do. So you can say these, we're always going to offer these discounts. You can allow the reps to enable, disable things, and we'll see some more examples of this as we go through the demonstration. So discounts, right? So I've set up discounts. We're not using discounts yet, but we'll see how we can apply those in just a minute. I'm going to go through a more detailed finance example, but this is where we can set up all my financing options and again, independently of the different offers out there. So general discounts and financing, think about that as all the components that are going to make up your various different offers in the price kit, right? So this is where, again, your sales methodology is key. You're coming in, you have the knowledge, and hopefully people are seeing terms and things that are familiar to them. It's very easy to be able to adapt to the tool to do what you needed to do. When you saw Kyle bringing up the different tiles and offers, this is where the magic is really happening. This is how you are creating that experience for the customer and also for the reps in the field, how you want to experience that. So I have two offers for the simple one, just a market value. If I go in and edit this offer, you'll see similar kind of a flow here. We can give it names, titles, kind of little customizations. This is also where I can leverage whether I want to apply discounts or financing for this particular offer, right? So each one of these offers can work independently. I can have an offer that has a combination of discounts and financing that's different than another combination of offers that are discounts and financing, right? And again, having some rep controls and hiding and showing prices. Again, a lot of it about how you want to align with your methodologies and things like that. So now that we've added this tool into the presentation, as I mentioned, it's not just about always adding the tool in. And I've got one example here I wanted to show, which our standard presentation, which is kind of the next steps, which you always should be doing during your sales calls, right? We should be encouraging people to ask the question: should we schedule it? Did we earn your business? Are you ready to go? What are the next steps? Let's drive it. What we're not seeing here is the ability to discuss about affordability or financing or things like that. So typically, what we've been seeing from a lot of customers and a lot of the folks we've been dealing with is adding some more, upfront information. I'll hide this one as well. That allows you to kind of collect a little bit of that information along the way. Again, going back to what I mentioned earlier about price conditioning and experience conditioning. So we can even just bring up somewhere in the presentation a simple pop-up that may just talks about, hey, we've got a number of paths of affordability for you. We can talk about pay in full options, split payments, financing, credit options, things like that. Are we ready to talk about affordability now? So you may actually, be very direct in some ways of how you begin to introduce pricing. But now you know that you've got the customer ready to go and have that conversation. The tools should vary the next page in the presentation to really have that substantive conversation. So I'll pause there again. Alex, any other comments about getting started and getting in here?
I mean, I think, like you said, you want to tee it up just so that people expect that conversation is going to happen. I think all homeowners are mostly interested in how much and how fast, but like the cost versus value page has been super popular. I know with my friends that are first time homeowners, they're always, when I tell them about it, they're like, what's that website that tells me how much stuff's supposed to cost? Because a lot of people don't know, right? People tell me all the time. Most people buy one roof in their life, right? Either they buy a new house that needs a roof or they live in a house long enough to need a new roof. And a lot of projects are the same way. So people are coming in and you have a massive opportunity to educate them. And when you educate someone, you build trust with them. So prepare for that conversation, talk about cost versus value, talk about affordability options, tailor it to your market. And that way, when you present the price to them, they're gonna come in and have some knowledge of where that conversation is starting. And most likely they've done some research. They might know what promotions are going on. They may have, timed it correctly or seen an ad on TV or, what, whatever marketing you're doing. Hopefully they've done some research ahead of time. And so, that's the part of the conversation that they're probably, really looking forward to. And, if you're at the higher end of the market, right, you need to be explaining why, you're a better choice than someone's cousin who, has a hammer.
Yeah. 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 As we've talked to a lot of the industry professionals, subject matter experts out there, this is what they said to us. They basically said, hey, great tool, but it's more than that, right? Because you really need to build that trust and understanding. And really what I call sometimes as a product manager, getting the answers to the test, understanding what the customers are thinking about, what's important to them, how they're thinking about affordability, right? So again, there's that little pop-up I get to help set the whole stage for having the more detailed, substantive conversation when we start talking numbers. But maybe we shouldn't even be talking numbers yet because maybe we're still working on scope of the product project and things like that, right? So we want to confirm when we're getting ready to do these things. So we jump into the tool now and we're ready to go, right? So we're going to go ahead. So as I mentioned before, we have a very simple example right here where we're just setting in a project cost. So maybe we'll have we'll right around that industry average, that $28,000 for this new roof out there. And this is where we can talk to the customer and kind of help, again, more conditioning. This is the market value. This is typically what we're seeing for your kind of job. But going with Hoyt roofers, I can offer you some better deals. And this is the example where we've got the couple of offers. One that came up automatically, and then when I showed the offer for your investment, right, our monthly promotion automatically showed up. The rep did not turn that on or off because again, from driving a consistency standpoint, I want my reps to always offer that monthly promotion every time, and I want to be consistent and see where they go from there. If we know they're a repeat customer, right, we can bring in some additional discounts. So we can have the conversation. And if they're ready to go, great. If they want to sign today, hey, I can offer you even a little more than what we just talked about right now. So the idea is really creating that conversation, creating a tool that allows the reps to really leverage all that conditioning we did earlier to understand what the customer's needs are, and then really have the tool kind of show them that path to affordability through the various different options we just demonstrated.
Yeah,
That's a
this
very simple example, but very powerful when you look at how we've set things up here and simplicity. If I was a homeowner, I'm pretty confident I know where I'm at right now, and I believe I'm getting a fair deal.
Yeah, it's not like a handwritten number on a piece of paper. You can clearly see, how things are adding up and being subtracted and how much you're saving and where the numbers are coming off, right? Everyone looks at the receipt when they go out to dinner, checks to make sure they didn't get double charged for an appetizer or something. And this is, a way bigger purchase. So people are paying close attention to how things are adding up and they want to see the numbers. And you're giving your reps um you're giving them some authority because they're not just writing it down on a piece of paper or entering things. All this stuff is pre-configured for them. And so they're part of a bigger system, right? The homeowners see it. They know that, what the rep's presenting is valid information. We see the same kind of psychology with presentations, right? Like if someone says something, maybe they got that number right, maybe they didn't, but you put it in writing, you put it on the screen inside the presentation, and it's like, all right, that cost versus value number, like that's authoritative.
Yeah. So while Alex was talking there, I just removed the one page we had in there. Let's go through more advanced options, talking about the financing and some of the other things here as well, the capabilities. So I'll discuss the simple financing options in the bigger financing example here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab our financing options here. Again, just a pre-configured template that allows you to just get started with maybe more bells and whistles turned on, kind of configured more aligns with what you're thinking of. So in this particular case, you'll see I've got a product and labor broken out a little bit differently. Discounts also, as I mentioned, can reflect, the various different ways we're doing pricing. But this conversation at this point is really all about the financing. So let's jump into more details about financing. The first thing is we have the ability to configure multiple financing providers So you'll see an example here. There's a green sky, and maybe there's another option down here, service finance, whatever it is. So if you have one vendor, multiple vendors, you can set up all those different plans in here. As you can see, each one of these categories also has the plans as well. So I can put in, kind of the category it belongs to, and then certainly give a description. Some pro tips here. Here's some ability to actually take that project total and actually include it in some of the details here as well, so you can really start to customize that experience for the customer, so they're seeing their amount due after 12 months, not just total due or something like that. Some pro features in there you can take a look at some point. But this is where the financing comes about more interesting, is depending upon how you do financing, what you want to do, and how you want to handle things, you can really discuss, setting things up, right? So is it terms and rates? Is it payment factors? Is it just a custom value on entrance? So it gives me the ability to look at things like, a lot of customers and folks understand what a payment factor is versus the simple interest calculations and things like that. So again, a lot of this is around terminology and aligning with your needs. What's really cool about this interface, Alex, that I love, especially for doing financing, is this little button down below. I can very quickly click between all these different options and really see where I'm at. So here's a good example where before I had what was called a custom value. Again, there was no payments at all, so we just put a 0 in here, versus something that has a term and rate where I have the real information in here, plan codes, amounts, things like that. And again, the tool is going to do all the math for us when we select various different plans. Again, here's a 60-month option, just as an example as well.
Yeah, we heard from a lot of folks that these change regularly, and so we wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to hop in there, update those with this month's offers, and then quickly distribute it to your team.
Yeah. So I talked earlier about the offers, configuring of offers, and again, the flexibility here of aligning it, the various different discounts and things. And this is where you have that combination of which financing options do you want? Do you want to show financing at all in that particular offer, right? Maybe that's the base you want to use, so you don't want to, you just want to keep it real simple, so you could turn that off altogether. So, for example, if I use a little preview, if you're not familiar with editing and previews, this is pretty cool. I can also preview these things, get some numbers in here to make it look good for me, and I can put in next 5,000 labor. It's done, so I can get a feel for what this looks like. I can show the second offer. Okay, that looks, yeah, maybe that. Maybe I want to show a range here or something like that, right? So I can simply go back to my editor, and I go back into the offer, and we can go ahead and make some other options. So I saw no financing option. The other option is an estimated range. So this is where maybe you're not, because financing is always a touchy subject, right? There's all kinds of legalities and how you explain financing. You obviously can't make financing offers without understanding people's credits and checks and things like that. So in a lot of cases, we're just, customers are looking for just an easy way to have some understand what is a typical payment going to look like. And this is where you can decide based upon the industry you're in, whether it's roofing, siding, whole home improvement. Maybe your rates are different. Maybe you have things set up in a different part of the country, different rates. So you can really put in kind of your monthly payments in here if you'd like to do that as well. So as an example there, I'll click done, and we'll just kind of give you that same preview of here what that looks like. And I'll go back in and whoops, I'll put in my pricing offer here. That's 15. Oops, and 5,000. So again, it's just giving me a very typical range here versus what we're seeing with the other tiles here, where we actually have a real plan selected, right? And I can come in and change the plan to a different value, a different plan, whether it's green sky, another option. I can kind of really can now customize that experience as well. Some really cool things we've done around the financing plans. We've heard a lot about different plans that people typically offer. While I may have 5, 6, 10 plans, we only typically offer 1 or 2 important ones, right? So we can actually have the idea of having your 2 most popular plans displayed there for customers to look at and kind of good experience about what they would see versus looking at specific plans and things like that. So cool. So this is a pretty neat example. I'm going to go through this again when we jump into the full demonstration and kind of go through this a little more lines of what Kyle was showing here. But anything else to add here, Alex, before we wrap up the configuration conversation?
You can move the tiles around. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, good point.
that's a cool feature. Like I said, we demoed this and tested this with a bunch of folks who've been using it out in the field, and so there's a lot of for 1.0. There's a lot of refinements here that are based on real world usage and people's actual needs. And like I said, everyone is a little bit different, and we wanted to make it as flexible as possible. So when you come here to offers, you're getting a bird's eye view of everything that's inside those tiles, and you can change it based on what you're doing and how your conversations are evolving. And obviously, in the real world, the reps are you know getting feedback from homeowners. They're flipping their iPad around, showing them offers, asking them, hey, does this work for you? Like, find out what's closing deals, and use that to make updates in the future.
Yeah, no, it's great. That iterative approach is really kind of key
I think
here.
people have told us they've been having fun like configuring it. You test it out, you put something together, you test it out, you take it for a spin, you say, hey, does this feel right? Is this the conversation? Is this supporting the conversation I want to have? And, just hit edit, go back in there and make some tweaks to it, pop it in there again, and, really wordsmith things so that when you put it in front of someone, and obviously the way we've seen this used in the real world is that the rep turns the screen away from the customer so they don't see all the options. But
Yeah, yeah. So the example, just one kind of went through here as thank you, Alex, at describing that. And so, with financing now in play, you can kind of start to see how we can progressively show things here as well, whether it's just a range or having that conversation with the customer, knowing this is a job that looking at some kind of a financing option. We need to understand kind of, where they need to be on a monthly payment. So you can actually start the conversation, understand where they are. And depending on what range they're looking for, you have at your fingertips all the different options with some of those calculations built out for you. So if the desire was to get under $300 a month, yeah, we've got a great plan. We can help you out with that. It's our 120 month at 699, right? So it's a really good way to now, kind of drive that conversation forward. Another good example is one of the ones that Kyle will show in one of his demonstrations, what he calls the free money program, right? The no-nos. The no-nos are super popular, right? Because it really kind of entices people to make that decision, even make that decision today. But the same idea here is, right, we can let them know exactly where they stand. And here's that little pro tip there, right? There's that full amount due after the 12 months of the fine print there. So pretty cool stuff, and really interactive, and really what's kind of cool as well is if I go back a page, I come forward a page, right? We're preserving all this information. So if you need to navigate away to go, look up something else or move into another part of the presentation to confirm something, we're going to retain all this information for you while you're in the presentation. Now, once you close the presentation, it goes away. But the idea is at least it's retained during the presentation. Another cool tip, I think, Alex, you mentioned was the ability to add multiple pages to a presentation. Pretty cool as well. Maybe you've got different kinds of projects or different options you want to show. We've seen that sometimes when people are actually showing payment options as investment options 1, 2, and 3, right? So I may have slide 1 or page 1 or offer 1, offer 2, offer 3 with different combinations and things like that as well. So a lot of flexibility, and we're not dictating how you're doing it, but we want to hear how you're using it so we can get the feedback we need to move the product forward as well. Any questions, comments from the crew? Woo!
yeah, I mean, it's something like when we started on this, my head was kind of spinning because coming from spreadsheets and chalk talk and everything that folks are doing, like taking all of that and making it something that was as simple as possible for homeowners to consume. I mean, it was a journey, but I'm really happy with where it is, and I think you present this to someone, they're gonna understand the opportunities and the value that you're putting in front of someone, and you're just gonna look good, right? Like, you know, the handwritten, you know, numbers on a piece of paper. Like, does that build trust? Like, does that have authority? I don't really think so. Um, walk someone through it, show them how it works, make yourself look professional, and have them, coming away with an understanding of how the numbers add up.
Yeah, yeah. And there's another important piece to the reps as well, and this ties into the last webinar we did for the summer camp, which is all around the tech stacks and integrations and things. Reps get what we call application fatigue, right? People in the field, anybody, you have so many applications and things. What do I use? We start to build that single pane of glass for the reps. See, I didn't have to move out of Engage to go do something that was critically important to that workflow. We've kept it in Engage. It may not always be Engage, right? But the idea is that we can link to other applications out there. We can really create that single pane of glass while the rep is in front of the customer. They can, to Alex's point, create a very smooth, very seamless, very interactive experience. That's very professional from beginning to end. And I think that's the big thing that PriceKit adds to the whole component here, is that it really allows you to tie that together in a very professional way. But that's not all. We got some other good stuff coming as well. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming. Ready to go? Ready to go around the corner and look off the top of that cliff and see what's ready.
I am so
Let's
excited
go.
to see what's coming up on the trail.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, PriceKit's there for everybody, and it's available today. You can certainly reach out for any assistance. There's some wonderful knowledge-based articles we've written for references. There are a number of training videos out there as well. So please, please, please jump in, take a look, and if you want to talk to us, Alex, myself. Look, I want to hear what you have to say, because this is the first iteration of what we call productized capabilities or productized content, where Ingage is building and looking for how to enhance these kind of capabilities. And one of those new capabilities coming down the line is something we're calling dynamic content. And this is something the engineering team has been working on for, oh, Jim, I'd say better part of 6 to 9 months. We've had some customers that have asked us to do some special things for them. And we've honored some of those requests because they really align with the direction we were going as well. And we've got some great customers that have been using some of this dynamic content capability for the last 6 months in the field, really to help us prove the model out and stuff like that. So what does dynamic content mean? Like, let's define this a little bit, right? So when you build a presentation, you're adding content to your different pages, right? Whether it be a piece of text, or some kind of or another asset like a video or an image, right? And those are static, and that's fine. It's wonderful if you never have to change your presentation. And for a lot of customers, going back 3 to 4 or 5 years, that was okay. I just had one presentation. We update it once or twice a year, no big deal. What happens when the reps want to customize their own presentations? I want about me. I want to personalize the presentation for the customer. I want to bring in a price piece of pricing information from another system or something like that, right? So think about dynamic content is the ability for us to put in a placeholder and then figure out, based upon how the page has been designed, where to go get that information, right? So if you go way back, like myself, the old school mail merge, where I had a letter I wanted to write, and I had a little placeholders for the names and addresses, and then I had another list. That's really what we're doing here as well. So at design time, a designer will decide, boy, that image is really cool. We can get that and make it customized for every customer. Wonderful. So they may design it in such a way that that's a dynamic element, that when you open the presentation, we know where to pull that piece of content and bring it in. And it might be different for every customer, right? So that's really what it's all about, being able to deal with the images and text in a very dynamic way. Alex, anything else you want to add there?
Yeah, I mean, we've been helping people make presentations for years, and since we introduced open presentation, we've seen a lot of very interesting, creative ways to make presentations dynamic using things like the uh, open presentation with tag feature. So folks that have multiple locations, they might have some location specific data. So people they'll jump out to a one-page presentation with cost versus value data for a specific region and then go back to the main presentation. Dynamic data will let you do that. You might have multiple sales reps that need to have an about me page, like you mentioned. Currently people are making 70 presentations and 70 teams, and it's a very cumbersome system. So dynamic data can make all of that super easy and seamless. And there's so many great examples of real world use cases that could be so simple. Like a manufacturer wants to give you a presentation and let you update your logo and a little bit of information inside of it to personalize it, right? That's something dynamic data can do seamlessly. So there's all these amazing things, and there's a lot of things we probably don't know about, right? Every time we release a new feature, people come to us with new use cases, but there's a lot of things that we know day one people can start using in their presentations to reduce for instance, the number of presentations you might be managing, or to extend the capabilities of the presentations you're getting.
Yeah. Yeah, and and you touched on a lot of this, why we did this, Alex, right? And as a product guy, I'm always asking the question, so what? Cool feature, but who's it for? And what are they going to say? They're going to say, so what? Are they going to be, compelled by it or see the value in it? So From the Engage platform perspective, we did this to help move the platform forward. It opens up integration opportunities and it simplifies the process on our side quite a bit. We can sunset some other capabilities that were, as Alex mentioned, that were being used kind of okay to work around some of the restrictions that because we didn't have some of this capability in there. For our customers, for you, this is designed to reduce the number of presentations that you have to manage, right? I have one organization where they create a presentation for every customer interaction. And typically they're making 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 a week. And when I talk to the creators that were doing that, typically they're looking at a day a week to create these presentations. And when we showed them some of this, we actually could see the real value where they reduced their time down to like an hour a week or 2 hours a week, not a day a week maintaining customized presentations. And for your customers, this really gives them that personalized experience. It really is impactful when I see my name, pictures of my project, house, things that are my address, things that are interesting to me that I want to see. Right, so it's really a trifecta here. It helps engage, it helps our customers, and it helps your customers. And so we're really always looking to push the whole platform forward. This is one of those features that is really opening a lot of doors for it. Um, so let's take a look at what this kind of looks like a little bit. We're just about ready to release the first iteration of this. It's going out for kind of preview for customers, and it allows you to really inject text and images and URLs into the presentation. So there's a lot of sophisticated things that people are asking for, but we want to start real small here. And I want to give you a demonstration of what some of those things look like and what we're coming out with. So I will slide over to my other machine here. And
it's demo time.
It's demo time. Thank you, Alex. And yeah, please gather around the campfire. We're all going to sing a song and have a kumbaya moment. So what we're looking at right now is a product we call engagement. Okay, this is what we call in the trade, if you will, a technology demonstrator. This is not an engaged product. This is not something we're selling. What I want you to envision here is your CRM, your CPQ system, even just Engage itself, as you'll see in a minute. But the idea is that there is content in all different systems out there that we'd like to be able to gather, pull in, and I want to show some of the real power of the integrations and how that data can really work here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one of our leads here, Cara. And typically in any of these systems, you're going to have a whole ton of information, about this particular contact. There might be photos in there, pricing information. One of the capabilities that I'm showing right here is the ability to launch a presentation from an external system. This has been in the product for years. It's called a deep link. If you're not familiar with deep links, we have a lot of customers using this to help streamline that process for their reps. The reps can be in a third-party system, a CRM, a CPQ system. A link or a button can be pushed on there so they can automatically launch a presentation. What we're going to see with dynamic content is we're going to take that launch to the next level, because what you're seeing down below here are things like photos and quotes that are also here. So maybe with dynamic content, we can make this whole process work a little bit easier for folks. So when I launch the presentation from here, now we have the context of who the customer is, what the job is, and a little bit more about the whole experience. So now we can start building that customized presentation. So we can see down below, we've added the customer's name in here. It's wonderful. So that came directly out of the CRM in this case. So some of these integrations, will require some work with your CRM vendors, and depending on what level of subscription you have with Engage, you may need to up to some of the other plans. But the idea is we can pull this out from other systems and they can push it into us. Very similar as well. We can reuse that same piece of dynamic content in many places, right? So we have got Car's name again here. My information, what you're seeing on the screen right here, it is not in the presentation. This is actually what we call a profile in Engage. And for the first iteration, we're doing company, team, and user profiles. And what power does that give you? Well, it gives each rep the ability to put a little bit of information into the system, maybe the picture, the name, and a little bit of a bio. And then depending on who's logged into the system, we'll pull that information and add it to the presentation dynamically. So if Alex had logged in, you'd see Alex in his bullhorn there, talking about how he likes to be the center of attention, as his bio, right? So the idea is it can really be personalized here. And this is one presentation to maintain, to manage. So if you decided to change things up, add a new capability, add PriceKit, right? That can all be one change to one presentation that everyone has access to that dynamically updates it. And that's pretty cool. And that's kind of some of the static information. And you can see as we go through the presentation, that's wonderful. But wow, look at this. I just got the price kit already. And that $25,000 that was entered in, oh, by the, well, where's my presentation here? There we go. That $25,000 is what the product total and install total came over automatically for me. So again, the rep didn't have to do anything, didn't have to slow down. It automatically entered in the system for them. And they can go through that same experience about the price conditioning. We can add the discounts and whatever it is. All those capabilities exist here. Another neat thing about the capability, if I go back to my quote again, if you will, customers saw that presentation. Wonderful. I didn't realize how affordable this project could be. You know what? I want to do, the upstairs and the downstairs at the same time, or I want to upgrade to a higher quality product or something like that. So maybe we can make adjustments. Dynamic content's designed not just to be used at the beginning of a presentation, but also during the presentation. So I could use this present price to show that entire presentation, or I can simply say, I want to show that updated page, right? So this is the interactivity that we were talking about with other third-party systems, the ability for me to very quickly go between two systems and really have the customer experience not skip a beat. So the dynamic content is used not only to just to augment your existing presentation, make it easier, but it's also really designed to kind of make it very dynamic. And the idea is you can change things at runtime, if you will, or while you're viewing the presentation as a result of making a change in another system someplace, right? Whether that be quotes, inspection reports, gathering information along the lines. Going down even further, if we take a look at what images can do for you, we can start bringing things like galleries, right? So this is where we can start building out, pictures of the home. This may be the inspection report. We got a piece of siding on here. Looks like it could use some help, right? We want to check that one off, make sure it's okay. So the idea here is that you can really create a lot of different capabilities in the product to show different things in different ways, but most importantly, using the content that's important to the homeowner, which is their content, their address, their demographic, their pictures along the way. So pretty cool stuff. As I mentioned, we're working with a number of customers right now and looking to open up an early adopters program. What I really want you all to take away is that the paradigm's shifting a little bit, right? Instead of making lots of presentations, we need to be thinking about how do we make presentations dynamic? How do we make them more interactive for our customers and the workflows we're looking for? And how do we make that easier for the reps and the customers to consume that information as well? So as we continue to work on the dynamic content capabilities, there'll be more updates coming out along the lines. There's 3 or 4 different use cases we're looking at as well. So the first one you're seeing is just the ability to bring data into the presentation, right? And so there's other things we're looking at as well down the line. You'll start to see in some of the upcoming webinars and roadmaps as well. So cool.
Awesome. Well, Alan, I think that it might be time to just take a dive into some analytics or trail reports. Where have we been? How do we track things? And then we'll wrap up with a couple questions. Sound good?
Sounds good. Let's get going here. So I'm gonna just go back to analytics real quick here in Engage, and I'll go back to an example here I've got built out, which is my Hoyt renovators, and I'm going to go to our manage. And again, this is just going over to where I can manage Engage, where I can see the analytics and things like that. And just again to cover off, if you're not familiar with analytics, there's a whole series of pre-built reports where we give the ability very quickly to see, kind of at your fingertips what went on last week, who did what, how many, what content was being utilized, and things like that. And we're continuing to evolve and enhance this. And one of the things that customers were asking us for is when I come into, say, a session report, I got to go through the process of finding these things and going through and checking things off. And is there an easy way to help me understand things a little bit easier? So something we've added over the last couple of months here is the ability to save reports. So let me show you the difference between going in and saying, I want to grab a custom range for let's say, go back 2 months here, say down there, and whoops, I gotta go back and save it. Yeah, there we go. And eventually the sessions will come in here, so I'm waiting, and then I'm gonna go through the process of setting the filter now. So I'll set the filters I'm looking for, I'll set the users, whatever I'm looking for to do here. That was like 5, 6, 10 steps. What if I could simply pre-configure that and very quickly click a link and have that all pre-filled for me, right? So the idea of saved reports gives me the ability to save effectively that filter so very quickly I can go back to it. This is an example where I actually added a saved report specifically looking at some customer interactions, right? So we can also tag those presentations. So the other thing that those integrations do when you launch presentations from those other systems is you can actually add on customer names, and those can show up and Engage. And creating a very simple saved report allows me to very quickly see everything that DAC did or somebody else in the system. What if I want to save my own report? Let's go ahead and just make a customization. Instead of working DAC, maybe I wanted to see everything about Janet Miller, and we'll get rid of DAC here. We've added a little menu up here where you can come in and either update the report or go to options here where I can actually change the report options. I can actually go back to the saved reports, or I can update the one that I have here. So I'm going to go update the one I have, and I can go back, and I didn't change the name here, but the idea is now I'm running the Janet Miller one, right? Very easy thing to do. The other really nice advantage is some of the compares, right? That take a little time to set up. So I've got an example of comparing Eric and I for the first half of the year. I want to see how I did and how Eric did. So let me actually add him back in here, and let me go ahead and update that report because I didn't save that. So the idea is here, very quickly you can build these save reports and give people access to the information. It does really two things. It helps streamline the process of getting the information. It also helps you drive consistency. Everyone's now looking at the same thing because you built the report that they're all accessing through a saved report link, as opposed to going through the process and configure anything out. More to come here. As I've always talked about, analytics is a customer-driven feature. We listen to what customers need, and we apply the appropriate fixes as necessary, right? So this is one. What's coming down the line for analytics are the ability to actually send out the reports, right? That's one of the things. The huge request right now is that, great, Alan, love this. I want everyone to get the copy of this compare report every quarter, because we do quarterly updates or quarterly reviews or something like that. So the ability to send information out, and a lot more filtering, right? So we've had a lot of requests. Can I filter this way, that way? Going back to the flexibility we had to do for PriceKit, we're now building into the analytics as well. So a lot more coming in analytics in the next couple of quarters as well. We got some new reports we're looking at. One of the things we did add is the ability to very quickly drill into. See if I got reports in here. Users. So we have a user detail report. Gives you kind of a very easy way to kind of collect everything about a user, what they did, where they did it. Very similar to the sessions report being filtered down. So continue to evolve reports and moving it through the process.
All righty. Well, Alan, we did have one question come in while we were talking. So I want to get over to our campfire chat and answer that question, and then we'll do our wrap up. So the question that came in was, can I theme the PriceKit pages?
At this point, you can't, and we actually did that on purpose. We wanted the functionality to shine, and not the bells and whistles initially. And also, that's a product management decision as well. We can't do everything we want in the time frame we have, and so it was a balance from a product decision to say, let's wait. Let's make a very clean, simple interface, and let's talk about the skinning and theming in a future iteration, right? We really want to focus on the functionality and get that right. But again, it's one of those requests I've heard from a lot of folks, and it is in the backlog for us to look at.
Wonderful. Well, let's move on to our last page. I do want to give folks a chance just to hear a little quick teaser for what's coming next week. So next week, I am really excited to be joined by the one, the only Chuck Toki to talk about survival skills. So what do I mean by survival skills? I mean, how do we take all the things that we've learned in our 2 camp sessions on tech stack and on presenting price and on personalization and talking to the customer, and actually apply it out in the field? How do we get our sales reps to actually do what we've asked them to do, hold them accountable, get their buy-in, and really just increase those sales and light up our revenue engine at our businesses? So make sure that you are registered for that session. It'll be same time, same place next Wednesday. All righty. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We are just so happy that you were able to be here, that you were able to see the first full real demo of PriceKit from Engage. If you have any questions at all about getting access to PriceKit, how to use it, please reach out to our team. We will be including this recording in an email to all registrants tomorrow, and you can go ahead and just reply to that email to get assistance. Alan, Alex, Jim, thank you so much for being here today, being our feature scouts, guiding our campers through. Wonderful. Until next time, campers.
Get to bed, campers.
Yes, get your bags, get to bed.